Our next question comes from Ricardo Gonzalez, who writes, "Hey guys, started watching your show a few months ago and I've been a huge fan since. So given the success of Mark Webb's Amazing Spider-Man film that outclasses Raimi's in terms of story and portrayal of characters, the future of the sequels is looking pretty bright. So let's just say hypothetically 2, 3, and 4, which is being rumored to be a Venom spinoff, are just as successful and leaves fans extremely happy. Let's say at this point in time, Marvel somehow actually acquires the rights to Spider-Man. Would they keep Garfield's Spider-Man and place him into the Avengers team, or reboot the character again with a different cast and make a film for him in whatever phase they'd be in so they can swing into the next Avengers sequel?" What do you guys think about this?
A couple of things. Number one, let's just be very clear that whole Venom thing is a rumor. It's just a rumor, so let's not go anywhere with that. And number two, Marvel will never get their hands on Spider-Man again. So now that we've got that established, it's still a fun question. What would Marvel do if they did happen, and it never will, if they did happen to get their hands on Spider-Man again? Despite the success that we see in the current Mark Webb's Amazing Spider-Man, I have to believe they would reboot it. And why would they reboot it? Not because they don't like what they've done already, but because they would want to be in complete control of where this character came from and how he fits into that Marvel universe that they have. They wouldn't want to try to shoehorn, like, okay, well, how do we explain there's been no Spider-Man up till now? Hey, if it's the same Andrew Garfield, how do we explain that he didn't show up when New York was being attacked by aliens? Ain't that where he lives? How do we explain... They could cure all that just by rebooting it, establishing the character the way they want him established, have his history fit into the current Marvel universe. It would just make sense. I would love to see Andrew Garfield in the Marvel universe, sure. And I love the way he's portraying Spider-Man. But it seems to me it would make a lot of sense for them to reboot it. That's what I think they would do, theoretically. Amy Rose, how do you think they'd approach it?
Yeah, I mean, we'll play into this fun hypothetical, but there's no way in hell they're ever gonna get back. I mean, obviously, all Marvel fans want all Marvel properties back with Marvel Disney, but, you know, considering this is the only major big property that Sony has, and it's been so successful for them, and I think they've done a good job. I loved Raimi's films, and I love Mark Webb's films, and I think the sequel is going to be really good as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would bring Andrew Garfield for many reasons, some of which you've touched on, but also the fact that it would just lend itself to comparing properties. Andrew was much better in the Avengers than in this. That must have been because the script was better, or Andrew wasn't as good. And, you know, just if it's, you know, that having that factor that is seen across studios, I feel like that would just be lending itself to comparisons and feeling inferior one way or the other. Even though I think he's way better of a Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire.
Yeah,
I think he just really shows it. I mean, Spider-Man's a sad character. He's had a lot of tragedy, and I love his take on it. But yeah, I don't think they would keep him. I really want Spider-Man to be on the Avengers, but I don't think we're ever going to see that. So we should get rid of those pipe dreams now.
Yeah, I agree with you too. And I want to mention this here because I get a lot of people ask me, like, John, how can you say that Andrew Garfield, because I agree with you, that Andrew Garfield is better than Tobey Maguire was. And don't get me wrong, I love Tobey Maguire's
Tobey's
Spider-Man.
fine.
But here's the reason why I really loved it so much. And I keep going back to this because I know a lot of people don't like it when I say that the Amazing Spider-Man, this new one, was in every way better than the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I still prefer the second Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Sorry,
but the reason is because of this. Tobey Maguire was a great 1950s, 1960s Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. He was a great 1950s, 1960s Peter Parker. He embodied it perfectly. The problem is we now live in 2013. And I really thought what Mark Webb did and what Andrew Garfield did with their Peter Parker character was they did a great job of taking the core elements of who Peter Parker was, then taking that and transmitting it into a modern 2013 context. What would that socially awkward, really bright, kind of nerdy, but still a little bit on the outside, socially weird guy, what would that look like today? And I thought they did it. Now, you pointed out he shows the sadness of a guy who's gone through the tragedy, but at the same time, he shows the levity of a Spider-Man. Yeah. And I really love the way they did it. And I think a lot of people, and I could be wrong about this, a lot of people who didn't like the new Spider-Man were basically because it's not what I was expecting. Well, Maybe it's not what we were expecting, but it's what we needed. And I think that's what Spider-Man needed, and I hope he continues on this path.
And can we talk about how insulting the emo Tobey Maguire was in the third film, the dance scene?
Can we not talk about that?
It insulted me. I was just like, how is this actually happening? So yeah, hard to get that up.
But you guys, can I just say, if Marvel ever does acquire this property and reboots this franchise and makes another Spider-Man film before they make a Deadpool movie, I'm going to take my Sonic the Hedgehog shirt, turn it into a rope, and Spider-Man swing from the top of this building and just end it all right there, because that is devastating to me.
I don't know that we're ever going to see a Deadpool movie. Maybe an X-Force.
At least we
maybe
get
an
X-Force. I think
Maybe we'll see him in X-Force.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news, and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.